Hello everyone. My presentation is going to be on William Gladstone. To start him off, he was born on December 29th in 1809, and from the very beginning he was immediately raised into a Christian household. And it was completely evangelical, and from the beginning he gave his life to Christ. He was dedicating his whole life to Christ, and he grew up as the fifth child of his siblings, and both of his parents were Scottish descent. And he later moved to Liverpool, where he became a very wealthy merchant. And his education was at Eton and Christ Church of Oxford, where he took his school days, sustained love for classics, and experience in debating. And it was funny because in the beginning he actually didn't see himself going into politics. He actually wanted to take holy orders, but it wasn't until he entered Parliament in 1832, and from then he never turned back from his 60 years of politics. And some of the things he did was he served as President Board of Trade, Secretary for the Colonies, Chancellor of the Exchequer, and Prime Minister for 4 different terms. To go through a little timeline of what he did, in 1838 he wrote in a defense of the Evangelical Church. In 1842 he resigned his position after changing his views on church-state matters. Then in 1846 the Ministry of Peel collapses over the Corn Law issue. 1852 he had his first appointed to the Chancellor of Exchequer. In 1865 he lost his seat at Oxford over the questions of disestablishing the Irish Church. In 1866 he returned to Parliament for the new district as a Liberal. In 1868 he served his first ministry for 5 years. In 1880 his second ministry for another 5 years. And in 1886 he served 6 months in ministry. And in 1892 he served his last 2 years of ministry. Then in 1898 William Gladstone had passed away. Through some of the things he accomplished, in 1847 when he was elected into Parliament, his speech in 1852 had put an end to Lord Derby's government. And more of him in 1879 he came out with his temporary retirement to put a change and have more of a democratic approach to the British. Disraeli's foreign policy was morally wrong in Gladstone's eyes. In 1880 he had won the general election, and what he did was establish a fair rent for Irish tenants and tenantry for those who paid rent. And even though after his death William Gladstone was known as a very hardworking man, very dedicated towards his work. Sometimes he would go 14 hours a day of just working, and very powerful sense of moral purpose and an appetite for the sermon. There was no single politician of the 19th century who matched Gladstone's ability to mobilize the nation behind a program. Only Gladstone could make a budget sound like an announcement of a crusade. His sympathy for the oppressed people of the world, the Irish, the Italians, the Bulgarians, and the Africans, was genuine. The respect and affection that the British reserved for Gladstone was summed up, and the nickname they gave him was the Grand Old Man and the People's William. So, to sum up his accomplishments, he established the Church of Ireland to free Roman Catholics from paying taxes to the Evangelical Church. He supported the Irish Act that protected the peasantry. He achieved reforms in competitive admissions to the civil services, vote by secret ballot, abolition of sled commissions in the army, educational expansions, and court reorganizations. This was William Gladstone for my presentation. Thank you all for watching. Have any questions? Let me know. Thank you.